8 farm workers died due to heat stroke earlier this week in Kakamas in the Northern Cape, and this comes amid scorching temperatures in some parts of the country. Farming associations are now calling for better working conditions following this tragedy. According to the African Farmers Association of South Africa, crops and livestock are also affected by the heat. Let's get you an update, a discussion on the situation, particularly in the Northern Cape, with the MEC for Agriculture, Mase Manopole, who will be joining us shortly, and the chairperson of the African Farmers Association of South Africa in the Northern Cape, Lesego Setswalo, joins us via our video link this morning. Lesego, while we wait for the MEC to join us, let's get our discussion going. It's unthinkable that 8 people should die in conditions that could have been mitigated. How did this happen?
Good morning. Good morning to you and your viewers. Thank you for having us. Firstly, AFASA leadership would like to send heartfelt condolences to the family and the farmers as well. Those farmers that are farming with, who are also with who are busy right now. We would like to request that they also get, the trauma counseling as well. So, global warming is actually with us right now. And as farmers, we've never experienced this type of conditions. So, global warming is here with us, yes.
MEC, great to see you. Thanks very much for coming on. Mase Manopole joins us as well on this discussion. I suppose the question, MEC, is what is the responsibility of the farm owners insofar as the working conditions of farm workers are concerned?
Good morning to the viewers, and good morning to the leadership of the association. One of the responsibility that is ensure that the environment is conducive for their workers, and also should to take into consideration the health and safety of their workers, which the Minister Mase and his leadership of the department did highlight to the farmers that we visited on Monday. Mm-hmm. Yes, he reminded them of the regulations and the compliances that's supposed to be taken into consideration. So, in further, then they assured us that they will ensure that they comply on the regulations that have been given to them according to the Act of Labour and Employment.
So, MEC, there are regulations in place. Is there going to be an investigation? Given the scale of this tragedy, 8 farm workers having died as a result of heat stroke, will there be an investigation into whether these regulations are being adhered to?
Let me first just give the viewers and yourself what happened on Monday. When we arrived, we received the prelim report from the team of the Department of the Minister of Employment and Labour, and also my team here in the province, who NSAPs were present, give us the prelim report. So that preliminary report gave us then an indication that there's a need for further investigations in this regard. But with regards to the issues of the regulations, that is the purview of the minister. Mine, as a role as a Department of Agriculture and Environment Affairs, is mostly to ensure that we provide the policy and conducive environment for agriculture, for farmers, even for farm workers and the farm dwellers. That's one of those. So hence we had a joint visit with myself and the minister, because the minister and his team has expertise of the regulations that the farm owners have to ensure that they comply on. So they have played a role in that regard. So I, in that, I said I want to do just a further investigation to determine what will be the next step for them according to their regulations, what needs to be done further. And the minister said, and in that, I think we also have issued a statement, a joint statement of ourselves and the minister, saying that if the recommendations comes that there was some negligence on their part, on the part of the employer. They will have to enforce whatever recommendation that comes with the report of the investigations.
Lesego, it surely can't end here. It cannot end with the deaths of 8 farm workers as a result of heat stroke, as a result of their working conditions. What would you see as the next step? Lesego, are you still able to hear us?
Back to me. Yeah. Yes, the network is not so good. Yeah.
Can I repeat the question?
Did you repeat your question again?
Yeah. My question is, what would you see as the next steps here? Surely it cannot end with the deaths of these 8 people.
Yes. Okay. At the moment, the farming community is devastated really by the loss of, the 8 farmers. So by losing 8 farm workers, it really means that we've really lost about 8 breadwinners. So while there's a monitoring of the situation by authorities and investigation going on, as AFASA, we would like to urge farmers, to make sure that their farmers, the farm workers, are not subjected to extreme weather conditions, by making sure that there's water available, the water, drinking water is available, making sure that the hours are looked into, and also changing the shifts, so that there's a minimum of exposure to the sun. And lastly, the activities during the day that they should be looking into, it's they should be working under shelter activities. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All important points there. MEC, perhaps just your closing comments insofar as those plans to sort of mitigate what these farm workers are exposed to in the searing heat. How do we, again, ensure that the farm owners are playing their part? They're coming to the party with these kinds of measures, changing shifts to minimize exposure to the sun, making sure that drinking water is accessible, and I suppose a whole range of other measures as well.
Okay. No, thank you. I think I'm going to say what I said to the farmers that we met, myself and the minister, Julius Nelson. Where do you advise them? We as a department, which we are responsible for agricultural production and contributes to the GDP. I said to them, and I'm still saying to them, because here in this platform, we understand that they are chasing production, in particular the vineyard in our province, because this is a harvesting season, and then they are also chasing the quality of their crops or their produce, not to be compromised in this. But we are saying to them, not at all cost. They must be able to consider the livelihood of their farm workers in this regard. Hence, the minister has advised them, and also which I supported what the minister said, was also issued a kind of an advisory note from their side as the labor, to consider the operating hours to be adjusted. This is what they said to them. And they assured us that they will consider them. And others have already said they have implemented the new operating hours. For example, says that they must be able to start 5 in the morning, and then maybe take a break, let the workers take a break around 11, because around 12 and 3, the heat in that area is very high, and then later in the afternoon, then they catch up on their productions. Mm-hmm. So I'm still want to also to say to our farm owners in our province, please consider the livelihood of their workers, and also take into consideration that we understand both farm owners and farm workers are contributing to the food security in our province and in the country, but also be able to ensure that they adhere to health and safety regulations as issued by the regulation and by the Act. So those I'm still saying to them, we want to send the same message to them. And the minister has assured that there will be now a regular monitoring in our area, especially in Kakamas, and because of the The weather forecast also have said this heat wave is still going to continue with us here in our province. There should be more monitoring. But we have said to them, please take the responsibility. Don't say that you want to be policed every time, but also take into consideration, because once you have this kind of disaster or fatalities, it means your production also going to be affected.
So
absolutely. It's both ways. Both of us are going to win. You also take into consideration, have a human factor also in this regard.
Yeah, the sector
so those
itself,
are the things that we're saying in the space. Yes.
The sector itself is already under added pressure because of load shedding, but as you say, there needs to be serious measures put in place to protect farm workers, particularly in the Northern Cape. To both of our guests this morning, let me thank you for your time. Mase Manopole is the MEC for Agriculture in the Northern Cape there, and Lesego Setswalo is with the African Farmers Association of South Africa, also located in the province. Thanks for joining us this morning.